Everyone respects the man who works. Because as men, we are always judged by what we can do. And if you are doing things, then people know that you are contributing. That is how you prove utility. Work ethic is the currency of respect. If you want to earn respect, you earn it through work. And sometimes that's working on yourself, that's sometimes working on a skill, working on a product, but it is all through work, through effort.
To change your identity of who you are, you just got to make a decision. The life that you're living in right now, when you look around and you see like the house you're living in or the apartment or the car you're driving, whatever you're living in, your physical reality right now was created by a past version of you. Today, whether you're winning or losing, you have the opportunity to say, I want to do this. I want to become this. I want to take this further. I want to do these things. I want to become this kind of person. That's a decision. And then all you have to do is model the behavior of the people that fucking do those things. And eventually your external reality materializes to look similar to theirs.
The word can't is quiet but deadly. It shuts doors before effort ever shows up. Most problems don't defeat people physically, they defeat them mentally before the battle's even begun. Think about endurance athletes. Around mile 18 of a marathon, the body hurts. Breathing is hard. Everything in your body screams stop. The moment somebody mentally says, I can't finish, the race is over. In their mind. Nothing changed physically, only the language. Studies show people that write down goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Why? Because they don't write, I can't. They write, I will. Words shape behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. When something feels overwhelming, don't lie to yourself, but don't sabotage yourself either. Don't say, I can't do this. Replace that with, this is hard, but I can figure it out. That small change changes persistence, and persistence changes everything.
If you want different for yourself, you gotta do different for yourself. It's more or less like, if I can't control anything in this world, I can control my ways and my actions. So I'll start there.
This is the secret. You must remember, you can't make a mistake. Now, that's a very difficult thing to do. Because from childhood up, we have had to conform to a certain social game. And if you're going to conform to this game, you can make mistakes or not make mistakes. You must do the right thing. There's certain conduct appropriate here, there's certain conduct appropriate there. And at chick dinner.
Everybody has a reason to be anxious. In fact, we have the ultimate reason to be anxious because we know that we're vulnerable and we know that we're going to die. And how you can not be anxious under those circumstances is a great mystery. It's a massive mystery. That's actually the appropriate response in the face of actual non-naive understanding of what constitutes life. Like if you're naive and you move forward, it's like, well, what the hell do you know? There's no courage in naivety because you don't know what there is to stop you. You don't know what dangers you might apprehend. And then to make the decision to move forward into the unknown and the land of the stranger. Anyways, I would say that's one of the secrets to a good life.
And if you are in a field by yourself with no clothes, no possessions, no trophies, absolutely nothing, just you by yourself, you're enough. That's it, you're enough. You always have been and you always will be, no matter what. And I think that's important too, that it's not just you are enough, it's you always have been and you always will.
But there is a balance between the mindset of achieving and loving kindness. But it's really hard to get people to let go of the attack and defend achievement mindset and trust the care and concern for your fellow humans as a way of creating higher production.
If you get braver, that's not what happens. What happens is, yeah, the damn world's just as dangerous as I thought, or maybe it's even more dangerous than I thought, but it turns out that there's something in me that responds to taking that on as a voluntary challenge and grows and thrives as a consequence.
And so once you've embraced and decided that this suffering, this sacrifice you're making is an indicator of progress, it's an indicator of obsession. Suffering and sacrifice and hard work is an indication of progress towards our dreams.
Storms always end. Fierce winds don't blow all morning. A downpour of rain doesn't last all day. Who does this? Heaven and earth. You're already connected to everything you want or need. It will come to you at the exact perfect time, as the rivers and the streams come to the ocean at the perfect time and place.
The way to visualize properly is to visualize the bridge between where you are and where you need to go. What you do by visualizing the bridge is you train your nervous system and your mind to do the hard work.
Why go on? And you only go on if the game is worth the candle. Now, the universe has been going on for an incredible long time. And so really, a satisfactory theory of the universe has to be one that's worth betting on.
The fear is the most subtle and destructive of all human diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear can age you.
What's it feel like when you wake up and it is pouring rain and you visualize yourself running anyway? That way, when you visualize the work, you are preparing your body for it, so you're not resistant to it when it comes.
If you configure your life so that what you are genuinely doing is aiming at the highest possible good, then the things that you need to survive and to thrive on a day-to-day basis will deliver themselves to you.
We play the games of getting on top of things all the time. And so we're in a constant state of competition as to, if it's not I'm stronger than you, it's I'm wiser than you, I'm more loving than you, I'm more tolerant than you, I'm more sophisticated than you. It doesn't matter what it is, but this constant competition is going on. In terms of that competition, we can, of course, lose place and in that sense make mistakes. But what a Zen student is a person who is not involved in the status game.
If you dare to do the most difficult thing that you can conceptualize, your life will work out better than it will if you do anything else. Probability is that if you manifest yourself properly in the world, that those things will come your way. Effective way of operating in the world than to conceptualize the highest good that you can and then strive to attain it.
You know who you are from the inside to the outside. And your behavior is a demonstration of what you believe to be true about you.
I ask you a question. What is the benefit there? What's the benefit of allowing fear to hold you back? What's the benefit of giving up on yourself, of not stepping out on life and taking life on? What is the benefit for you? What's the plus in that? The same reason that people get stuck at a certain level in life. They can't see things being better for them. And they think that this is it and this is all they deserve. This is all they've ever seen. It's been passed on to them. And they think that this is it for them. Oh no.
Because I wouldn't assemble the story that my past equals my future. The past only equals your future if you live there. If you're using a rearview mirror to guide yourself, you're gonna crash. So what you've been through is horrific. What you've been through is unjust. I'm on your side. But if you hang on to it, you have no future, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Free yourself from the chains of your past.
In other words, the minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control. And it never fills you up. And people's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. It's your own. It's your own inside.
You have a lot of potential as a child, but none of that is capable of manifesting itself as freedom before you become disciplined. And discipline is a matter of the imposition of order, and the order is necessary, especially for people who are hopeless and nihilistic. And lots of people are hopeless and nihilistic. Way more people than you think. And part of that is because no one's ever really encouraged them.
Your life, you're probably never going to exceed your identity. Your identity is the thoughts and concepts that you believe to hold really to be true about yourself.
It is so easy to get lost in the day-to-day grind of what you do, what any of us do. If at the core of you is a deep and unending why for what you're doing, you've got something. Now you've got a chance to transcend what you're doing.
Because if you want joy, happiness, and freedom and an extraordinary life, it will not come from blame. Never. There's no pride that comes from blame. That's why you need self-esteem. Self-esteem does not come from what people say about you. Self-esteem comes from what you experience about yourself.
It's a complete dynamic dance between what the Vedic tradition would call fate and free will. So fate is what is already created for you, and a good example would be the place you were born, the type of family you grew up in, the socioeconomic background you had. It was already there when you walked into the world. But within that, you had choices where your free will came about. You had the choice to either do what everyone in your neighborhood did or to do something different. You had the choice to have a relationship with a particular person or not. So what happens is that we're constantly creating new spaces from which we have another choice. And so you kind of see as this dynamic dance between, okay, now I'm in this situation, and now what is my choice in this situation? So I would say, I'm not saying it's equal, I'm saying it's a dynamic balance and a switching process where you're constantly creating a new level, and then now in that level you have a next choice.
First, you're in service to something higher. And you begin to ask yourself, because you've been given everything, you're a composite spiritual idea that carries the infinite and ways beyond your wildest imagining. You have to live in the inquiry of what can I give? What can I share? How can I shine? How can I radiate? You have to give up the thought of what can I get from the world. The world has nothing for you at all. There is nothing the world has for you other than an opportunity for you to give, for you to share, for you to serve, for you to radiate, for you to activate your potential.
But if you just do your vision every single day, putting one foot in front of the other, committed to your desires,
instead of lack, limitation, fear, doubt, worry, separation, not enoughness, your narrative becomes, I have everything that I need within me. I am surrendered to something larger than my little self. I am in service to it. That flows through me.
But fear is physical. You feel your throat or your gut. So it's courage. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It just means you're strong enough, you push through in spite of the fear, right? And courage feels different in the body. So when you go lift, or you go for a sprint, or a strong run, or you jump in that freezing water, when you push your mind, you go beyond what's comfortable. You feel a strength inside you, and that strength will help you to change your body, your emotions, your relationships. And there's lots of different purposes as you go through your life. But most people are trying to get that. They haven't even figured out how they're going to do it. They haven't even figured out how to enjoy their life. Your purpose will unfold if you do the right things.
It's a hard one for people because we grow up believing that we're not good enough and nothing is right. When you talk about loving yourself, a lot of people think that that's vanity. And if you can recognize that you are a being that has self-worth, if you can really recognize your own worth, then you start to treat yourself differently. And I think that's what's so very important about loving yourself, is you stop beating yourself up, you stop making yourself wrong, you stop talking about how awful you are, and you start to treat yourself with a certain amount of respect. And this makes an enormous difference because what you give out in life is what comes back to you. So if you're getting out a feeling of, I'm okay, I'm good enough as I am, and I am acceptable, and I love life, and I love me, and you start having gratitude for yourself and for life, then life treats you differently.
I think a lot of people are afraid to jump all the way. It's kind of like having faith. A lot of us say we believe, but we don't really show it. Because if we showed it, we would be okay taking a chance in a relationship, taking a chance switching jobs, taking a chance going against our parents' wishes. A lot of people stay in those bubbles, and it's very hard for those people, I believe. You know, I think it's really fear and lack of jumping in life all the way.
We want to show all the hoopla. I hate what's going on Instagram right now. Everybody living their fake life, $50,000 cash on a bed and a boat, and painting a lifestyle that is not realistic. What we need to all be doing is figuring out what we're best at and going all in on that.
Most people don't say what they want in life, where they want to go, who they want to be. They take it as it comes. What do I want? What kind of friends do I want? What kind of life do I want? And then I think speak that out, first of all, like declare that, be honest.
Challenge of real life is being able to take something that's supposed to count you out and say, you won't win because I control the outcome. If it was not for the things I did not have, I don't know if I would ever push the way I pushed.
When I was at rock bottom, I didn't know that I was at rock bottom. And you can't really change what you're not aware of. And so it was like one of those things where it's like, can it get any worse? Bam! Can it get any worse? Bam! And I kept asking the question, can it get any worse? I didn't know that what I was asking was causing my life.
Is you can measure the progress in your life by your ability to control the environment in which you live. And have an end game goal. I'm gonna be famous. If you're listening to this, you have an end game goal. Like, for some people, it's making $1 million. For some people, it's six-pack abs, best-selling author. We try to move towards things of intense pleasure and move away from pain and discomfort.
Why do we exist? Judah, why do you exist? Why do we exist? Not the answer you think you're supposed to give, but the answer, like the truth of what you want and why you exist. All right, we're gonna get bare bones honest here. This is actually what I want in life. This is actually why I exist. And then we've got to like hold each other accountable to that.
I had a system. It was if you get up and do it, there's only a certain thing that follows, action, and that's results.
The impact of someone growing up in a struggled household where there's fear-based, that's a form of language. Most people don't know the language outside of that because they stay inside, watch the same TV shows, listen to the same radio station, hang around the same friends, never read books, and just follow wherever society says, do this, this is popular, do this is popular, that never really think for themselves.
That's the good life. You define it however you want to define it. But to realize it is harder. So as I said, everybody wants the good life, but not everybody gets the good life. So what I'm interested in, it's not about whether I make $1 million or not. Many people make $1 million and many people don't. What's more interesting of a problem is how do you get what you want?
You gotta know your story. And that story has got to be personal, not distance from you. It is the more personal your story, the more effect you have. The more personal your story, the more universality that you have.
So for me, Like, you know, I have to do this. I've been, you know, it's why I was failed school. It's why I sold baseball cards when I was 14. So for me, I'm okay with the failures, the losses along the way. It's my natural state. I just want people who are listening to find their natural state and not force into the current narrative.
I don't think people can be who they're supposed to be without community. And community doesn't have to be 10,000 people. It can be 5, it can be 3, it can be the right people, not just a bunch of people, but the right people. And it's been said, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Like it's real. I can tell you where you're going right now by the people you're hanging out with on a consistent basis.
The game, the competition, it ain't about nobody else. It's about you versus you. How can you inspire yourself to achieve a level of greatness that not too many people that will ever walk this earth can pull off?
How do you fit into the cog? How are you the cog fitting into this universe? If you can figure that out, you will find the good life.
Your story, your quest to be the best has got to be physical. In a world that has reduced itself to like communicating like so tiny that our bodies just can't do it. We can't fit into it. And that's the reason we're so messed up. We start crossing boundaries. We start doing goofy stuff with our bodies because it's not expressive. We don't let the sucker out to hunt.
I'd like to be politically correct. I'd like to be perfect. I'd like to make it easy on myself to not have to be able to stress the optics on the outside. Here is the punchline problem. You can't run away from who you are. You can't. And so, like, I want it, and I want it real bad.
Number one, more personal, the more universal, the more impact you have. Number two, physicality. People believe 50% of what comes out of your mouth. You believe my body 100% of the time because the body can't lie.
Life will throw tremendous blows at you. Betrayal of friends, betrayal of business partners, death of loved ones, things that we consider unfair. If you can overcome those, you can actualize the good life.
Who they are. Because if you don't tell yourself who you are, then you'll allow anybody else to tell you who you are.
It's impossible to be dismissed if it's life and death. For you to build your quest, that's life and death. Because what happens to you if that quest never happens? What happens to your family? It's life and death to somebody. Everybody understand? The urgency's got to be there, okay? We are predators. This is how we're made. It's so much easier to be this. It's so much easier to be the best than it is to be mediocre.
Blame this, blame that, blame. And I'm like, the one person I've never blamed was myself. Maybe it's my fault that I am where I am. So I can't do anything about anyone else, but I can do something about me.
Pain is part of being alive. We're not living a Disney cartoon. We're living real life. And the pain we feel, it makes us more human. It makes us more alive.
Things that I think when the legacy is done, when the shade one day will close, what will people look back one day and say, what did you give me? All I can leave is everything that I've endured, all of my pain that I don't remember, and all of the people that come behind me can one day look back and say, he did, so can I.
Like to say that anything that you love as a child is connected to your inner child, which is directly connected to source. As soon as I started doing everything that I loved, there was a surge of power, a surge of confidence. I wasn't insecure anymore because the emotion that had the most dominance in my thought process and in my heart process.
If you try to conquer and overcome fear, that effort will either run or ultimately ruin your life. But if you embrace fear, that effort will turn fear into one of the greatest experiences you have here on planet Earth.
So I want to plant more seeds in the garden of my life. Seeds are things that are like compassion, love, purpose, fulfillment, meaning, joy, service. And weeds are when we do things out of ego, envy, competition. And so every day, I'm plucking out the weeds out of my life. I'm trying to plant more seeds.
I realize it's not I think, therefore I am. If I could change that a little bit, I'd say I observe what I think, therefore I am. And not my thoughts. I'm the observer of them. You know, if you have a thought, creating a gap before you act on that thought. And in this gap is like this magical chamber where you can change. That's where you can step in and form new neurology, new neural networks, rewire new patterns and start old neural patterns.
But there is an intelligence that is beyond the mind, that is breathing you. It is functioning you. It is digesting your food right now. It is the intelligence that is processing, in your brain. It's the same intelligence I feel that is functioning the sun and the star and the moons. And so I don't believe this intelligence is necessarily separate from us as some higher power thing. I believe it's the very essence of what we are, but we've kind of disconnected and forgotten.
There's pillars in life, right? So there's different kinds of success. And so there's monetary success. That's one bucket of your life, I think it's easy for people to get so singularly focused in one pillar, and that makes their whole life off kilter.
Involved in, when you refine that intention, and it gets purer and purer and purer, not that we're ever fully pure, but it gets purer and purer and purer, you'll just see magic happen around you. So many things will open up, things that you never imagined.
Turns out if you're being observant or curious, you're in a mindful state. That easy. So if you're anxious, all you have to do is get really observant and really curious. It can be about the light in the room, it could be the smell of something, but you're forced instantly into a mindful state.
I think there's a consciousness that we are all a part of, that we all are connected to, that is intelligence, that has a knowing. And I believe at that deepest level, we know everything. Because at the deepest level, beyond this physical body, we are everything. I think get comfortable with not knowing. I think the degree of freedom we experience in life is also in direct proportion to our ability to be in the unknown and not know.
To change who you are. And this can show up in so many different ways. Maybe as a way to avoid fear, you withdraw from life, or you're in your head all the time so you don't have to deal with the feelings in your body. You make yourself so busy as a way to run away from the fear. To shift in gratitude, because I think gratitude is the basis for happiness and the basis for joy. And all of us got a reset button on gratitude, because it's very easy when you're on autopilot, you're going to and from work, you're doing this, we take certain things for granted. And now, the simplest things when we come out of this, we're gonna have such extreme gratitude.
Finding your daily rituals, finding your daily habits, finding your practices that act as the foundation, because we're living in such busy, hectic, crazy time, or whether it's getting lost by getting distracted from what's really meaningful to you.
I think so often we're conditioned to know everything. We've got to know who we are, at least who we think we are. We've got to know where we're going. We have to know what's happening. We have to know what's going to happen in 10 years. And the reality is, I think life itself is way bigger than what we can structure and plan with our minds. And so I think there is a way to plan and strategize, but not get so attached to our idea of how we think life should be.
The true change comes from you. The true change comes from within us. That's where it comes from.
each individual taking ownership of what they need to do in life. Period. That's all it comes down to.
There's people out there that don't want to see you do good. As you know, there's people out there that don't want to see you happy, don't want to see you accomplish anything, don't want to see you grow. There's people out there that don't want to see you be everything that you are. There's people out there that are threatened by your greatness.
You know, if you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. The things that you do and that you don't do are far more important than you think. And so if you act that way, of course, the terror of realizing that is that it actually starts to matter what you do. And you might say, well, that's better than living a meaningless existence. It's better for it to matter. But I mean, if you really asked yourself, would you be so sure if you had the choice? I can live with no responsibility whatsoever. The price I pay is that nothing matters. Or I can reverse it and everything matters. But I have to take the responsibility that's associated with that. It's not so obvious to me that people would take the meaningful path. Oh, my belief systems have collapsed. It's like, yeah, maybe. Maybe you've just allowed them to collapse because it's a hell of a lot easier than acting them out.
Recreating you, and you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change. You can decide that you're going to stand up to life. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last.
You're not trying to get to perfection right now. You're just trying to get a little bit better than you were yesterday or an hour ago.
You gotta start protecting your life. Everybody don't deserve you. Everybody don't deserve access to your life.
Because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. Perhaps there's another way that you could look at the world, and so what it would reflect back to you would be much better than what it reflects back to you now.
Breakdowns happen right before breakthroughs. So I pray you break that cycle that's trying to break you. I pray you kill those thoughts that are trying to kill you. No mistake is too great, as long as you forgive you. You always have a choice. Never stay silent about your battles. Give your pain a voice. It's okay to not be okay. We're all one struggle away. Your change is gonna come. You just keep believing day by day. This storm will eventually run out of rain.
And there are things as you have your goals, things are going to happen to you that you can't anticipate. Some of you in the eye of the storm now. Things are going to happen. And don't say, why does this have to happen to me? Why not you?
That's what we do. We go like, what's the meaning of life? As though someone's supposed to tell us. And he's saying, no, actually life is asking you that question. Existence asks you that question, and you answer it with your choices and decisions and the life. So your life is the answer. Because if you think that action is the end all be all, you end up doing action for the sake of doing action, right? So I feel like I should always be doing and doing and doing, but sometimes you're just supposed to be. And oftentimes just sort of being there and sitting there and being still is where really great insights come from. And this is also where happiness comes from. You know, it's hard to be happy and appreciate and feel gratitude when you're just moving all the time. You gotta remember it's human being, not human doing.
And most people are not in the moment. And it's really challenging. You know, monitoring your thoughts is noticing where your mind is going, noticing what you're thinking. And is what you're thinking taking away from the moment? Is what you're thinking something that's driven by the past? Is what you're thinking about something that somewhere else you want to be?
People go, okay, here's really what I want to do, and this is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then they see all these other things that other people are doing, and then they kind of see that as like a grab bag. They're like, I want a little of this, and a little of this, and a little of this, and I want it all at the same time. And that's not really possible. I'm on a path that's taking me further away from what I want my ideal day to look like. That's not success. What does like an ideal day of your life look like? Like maybe not right now, but like what do you want a day in your life to look like? Well, what does that actually cost? Could you have that now? Do you have to have a life that you don't like so that at the end of it, potentially you're lucky enough to go there? Or could you find a way to get that now? I'm trying to think about this on a regular basis. Is my life resembling what those days are supposed to look like? And if I have too many days in a row that don't resemble what I want my day to look like, I go, I'm having the opposite of success.
I always say like if fear was a door and behind this door was all this negativity things that I'm saying, like I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna suck, I'm never gonna walk through that door. So in order for me to walk through the door, even though the door is super scary, I have to make empowering things on this side of the door, right? I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna grow. Even if I don't win, it's gonna be something valuable in it. So let me walk through this door, right? Even though it might not be perfect, I'm still gonna find growth inside of it.
There's times in your life when things gonna happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold.
If for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, by your own definitions, right, within the value structure that you've created, to the degree that you've done that, what would you be like? Well, you know, there are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were, if they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that.
And so by being all in, I'm bringing all of me to it. I'm gonna bring all of myself to the situation.
Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. That's divine love. Because when you advance confidently in the direction of your own dreams and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours.
Need only ask myself one simple question. What's my goal moving forward? Only thing that matters is moving forward. And so, as cheesy as it is, the only thing that any of us have is right now, this minute. And what could you do in this minute that would be the most fulfilling?
To me, this is the road to true freedom. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to protect. I have nothing to hide. And I have nothing to defend. That your perception of me, after I tell my truth, is actually none of my business.
Stop doing the things that you know are wrong, that you could stop doing. There are things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. Now, some of those you won't stop doing for whatever reason. You don't have the discipline, or maybe there's a secondary payoff, or you don't believe it's necessary, or it's too much of a sacrifice, or you're angry or resentful or afraid, who knows? So forget about those for now. But there's another subset that you could stop doing. It might be a little thing. Well, that's fine. Stop doing it. To see what happens.
So once you realize that humans are adaptation machines, that we can learn anything, now it's like, okay, whatever you want to do, you can do it as long as you're willing to pay that price. I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard. It is going to be very, very hard. I'm just saying that it is doable and that you will receive a return on investment in your energies. And that's what people need to know, believe to the core of their being, that my time in this direction will be rewarded.
To believe that you need what you don't have is the definition of insanity. To believe that you need what you don't have. Because you're already here, so you've already proven that you don't need it. So to go around believing that I can't be happy, fulfilled, unless I get this stuff that I don't already have, it's a complete and total illusion.
Thing that gives you the most energy in life is something that you have no natural inclinations for.
I think what you have to do, and this is part of humility, is you have to look around you within your sphere of influence, like the direct sphere of influence, and fix the things that announce themselves as in need of repair. What's important is that you learn how to distinguish between chaos and order, and to be able to act in a manner that produces order.
Only thing you need to know right now, the point is not to avoid the pain. You need to stop asking yourself, what's the least you can do to get good? And you need to start asking yourself, what's the most you can bear to become great?
If the participants' reason why is if they know I want to achieve X, and the reason why, the motive for their action, motive for their action is a reason beyond just themselves, chances are that they'll do more to achieve that success than if it was just left up to their own. But there are some people that are born, with incredible drive. They just have this insatiable drive, and they'll just, I'll do whatever it takes for the things that I want. There's no excuse whatsoever for not getting at what it is that you should be doing. It's absolutely reprehensible to justify your inaction with a catastrophe that extracts mercy from other people.
And I'm saying that if you know anybody that had some goal, some dream, something they wanted to do, and they did it, then I'm saying that you know in your heart that if someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible.
What I say to people who really want to access the transition from ambition to meaning, if they really want to access it, is to get your thoughts off of yourself.
Once you understand, the whole point is to let the suffering and the pain harden you into becoming the version of yourself that you need to become in order to execute at the highest level, to be world-class at anything, and stop avoiding it, stop being afraid of it, and start understanding for what it really is, which is the thing that shapes you.
In the game of life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, career, business, spirituality, fun experiences, you have to decide what level of the game you want to play at. Is it the grade school level, the kindergarten level, the high school level, the university level, the pro level? Because each one of those levels requires a totally different mindset and totally different skill set.
You have to first take 100% responsibility for your life, give up being a victim, then you have to get clear about what is my purpose. One of the biggest fears is of the unknown and uncertainty of the future. But everything's uncertain. And we're trying to create certainty in an uncertain world and stop being afraid of uncertainty. Uncertainty is what's exciting.
Like we're sleepwalking through life, that we find ways to cancel out our dreams. That I think that but is a dream killer. That a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of places we would like to go, a lot of things we would like to experience